Greetings, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashaki Ali, better known as the Divine Soul Sister, and this is Divine Soul with Ashaki. On this channel, it is my intention to assist you with your individual spiritual journey through sharing stories of my own life, tips, no tricks, but certainly insight from an intuitive perspective. I'm a spiritual intuitive and guide teacher, Reiki master, tarot oracle reader, and so on and so forth. I'm just an average woman that has chosen the path that is true to herself, and with that I have been able to experience a level of peace, joy, love, and bliss in my life that I never would have experienced had I not chosen to pursue my true destiny, which is divination and healing. Now, if you are new to this channel, let me first say thank you so much for being here and welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for rocking it out with me and supporting me. It really means a lot. And although my channel is very small as of right now, I still appreciate those of you that have taken time to subscribe, that actually watch the videos, especially those that are gaining something, because I only do the videos to assist other people where I wish I would have had someone to speak to me when I was going through certain changes in my life and transitions. Now, with all that being said, I was almost about to get prepared to relax after having a very hectic day doing performing readings and different things. However, I want to stay true to what I have promised, which is to produce one video per week. I keep saying that the videos will be uploaded on Saturday, but for some odd reason that is not happening. So we're going to move and say Sunday for sure, because that's what's been happening over the past month or so. But this particular video, I want to speak about how to accept yourself and why it is important. And this video is dedicated to a client that I spoke to, a student of mine, someone that I've communicated with for quite a while, in regards to spiritual things, his own journey, and his life. Many of us are not living our truth. And because we're not living our truth, we're not experiencing life on a level that we could experience if we were to fully accept ourselves, the things that we don't like about ourselves and the things that we love about ourselves, the totality of who we are as an individual. Some of you have this inner turmoil, and you need to understand that there is a universal law that says, as within, so without, as above, so below. If you are in a tumultuous state all the time, your insides are grinding, you're having anxiety, you are pushing down and repressing the trueness of who you really want to be. You're not pursuing relationships because you've been burned before. You're not pursuing careers or business opportunities or ventures because you are fearful because you failed before. You're not traveling because you're afraid of flying, or you had a bad experience on a flight, or whatever, what have you. These things are hindering your growth and hindering your life. You cannot and you should not place yourself within a box and lock yourself away and be imprisoned. A lot of you have never been to a institution, but you are certainly institutionalized in your own mind. You are locking yourself away, and because of that, the universe is constantly producing miracles. Miracles are happening every single day. And abundance and the joy and peace and love and all these beautiful, wonderful things are trying to make their way to you. But the reason why you're not experiencing them is because you have taken yourself and you locked yourself up. You have not accepted yourself fully. So how do you get to the point where you accept yourself, flaws and all? First of all, You need to understand that you were created a certain way for a particular purpose. There is no mistaking who you are. Now, case in point, myself. When I was younger, and I was, I grew up pretty dysfunctional. But one thing I struggled with was colorism. Dealing with this brown, this deep mahogany skin and loving it. I hated it. My body is pretty, it's kind of lighter than, other areas of my body. And I had a girlfriend when we were growing up. And we would always say, we would look at the inner side of our arm, which was the lightest because the sun didn't reach it. And we would always say, if I was as light as this part of my arm, then I could be loved. People would like me more. As I look back, my heart goes out to my younger self because I did not see how beautiful I really was. Sometimes I look at pictures of myself as a child, and you can see that I was not happy. You can see that I was stressed out, and you can see that I was not comfortable. I remember feeling very uncomfortable every single day. I never smiled in pictures, especially not school pictures, because people weren't looking. I was very shy, even though on the outward, people will say, you're not shy, you talk to anybody, blah, blah, blah. But that's one level. But I was very insecure in who I was. Also, add another level to it, besides my appearance, because I wore braids and beads and nobody was wearing that. Like, I looked very African at that age. And I have these very prominent features. And I was not taught to love myself in the way that I should. It's one thing for your grandparents to say they love you. It's another thing for somebody to tell you that you are beautiful, that, you should love yourself and model that behavior. I didn't have that. And it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I am. And I still have to check myself right now about beating myself up about certain things. If I get a blemish on my face, it's a big deal. So I'm a work in progress still in some areas, but I've come a mighty long way. Now, on another level, as far as accepting myself, when I was a young girl, even as a young girl, as early as I can remember, I always had dreams and they always came true. I always knew things intuitively. No one around me, besides my grandmother, but she shied away from her gifts a lot. So I had no one to help me to harness the power and energy that I was experiencing or explain what intuitiveness even was, or being empathic, or, being clairaudient, being clairsentient, dealing with those types of things. They were shunned. I was raised a Christian and in a totally Christian community. That was a no-no. Anything that was occult, which really means, the word occult means hidden. But as a child, if you heard the word occult, it was like you were laying down having sex with the devil. Like, it was the worst thing ever. It was a taboo to be a psychic, to be psychically inclined, to be empathic, to know, to feel. But in the same token, the church embraced people that were called prophets, who would share messages from thus saith the Lord. Hypocritical? Yes. But as a child, you don't know what to call it. Only thing you know is, you know what? There's something about me that is very different. And because people are not accepting of it, then I can never share it. And I need to pretend as though I do not know or feel or anything. So I took those gifts of myself. I took them and I placed them in a file folder and pushed them to the recesses of my mind and in my spirit. And I would pretend as though I did not know. Now in school, that's another issue. I excelled. Why? I have somewhat of a photographic memory. I learn things differently than most children, and I was always placed in gifted classes and things such as this. I'm artistically inclined also. Many talents. Some of those things, again, because I did not want to draw attention to myself, like my ability to sing, I would not do it. I just decided, you know what? I don't want to bring any attention to myself. So these things about myself, I'm going to compartmentalize them. I'm going to pretend as though that's not true. Okay. Years of feeling anxiety and depression and this never ending weight and heaviness in my spirit. And I kept wondering because I had really brainwashed myself to the point that I didn't remember myself. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I became heavily involved in the church, even though in my heart of hearts, I never felt comfortable there. My fascination with all things occult, I decided I would still know certain things and I would receive downloads, but I would never share the information with people. I would never tell anyone what was going on. My inclination towards herbal medicine and things like this. Now it's much more accepted than it was years ago in the areas that I lived. It was not accepted. It was not taught. Like, you don't tell people, even though there were people that were practicing herbal medicine. My grandmother was practicing herbal medicine, but it just was something that you bragged about or talked about because that was linked to witchcraft. And certainly dealing in magic and juju, mojo, and all that good stuff, even though it was going on heavily. And certain members of my own people, my family, were practicing. You better not tell anyone that you're a root worker. You better not. You be ostracized, you be cast out, you be drugged verbally in the church, and everybody wanted to be a part of. So I took all those things of myself and I placed them in a nice little package, threw it to the back of my mind. But then years and years of depression and feeling disempowered and disenchanted with my life and knowing that I'm a fake and I'm a phony. Just as fake and just as phony. And it really required a few things for me to come into a level of acceptance. I first began to accept myself when my life got turned upside down. My children's father was sent to prison, so I was a single mother with my children. Okay, I'm not a wife anymore, so who am I? So I began the process of self-discovery. The first step actually was when I cut my hair in 2010. Around September of 2010, I started feeling away. I had a nice haircut, very similar to the Fantasia haircut, where it's cut very short and long on one side. I cut the side off, started wearing a wig, started growing my hair out, not quite knowing what I was doing. And then that Christmas Eve, I determined and decided, you know what? I'm going to cut my hair off. Whatever is not curly must go. Whatever is straight on my hair when I wet it. So that's what I did. I wet my hair in the downstairs bathroom. At this time, I was living in a 2-story house. And I took my scissors and I cut away. And I was left with about not even an inch of hair. So then I immediately became frightened at what people would think about what they saw. Oh my God, who am I now? Okay. Tried to put a wig on, the wigs didn't fit. So I was faced with having to wear my natural hair to work. And I was a manager in a long-term care facility. That was step one. As I look back in retrospect, I realized the hair journey was just a precursor to the true journey. I began to move back into a revolutionary standpoint and be very vocal on issues in the Black community. I began to get I had an online presence. I was a part of a national organization. I was traveling. I was writing, frequent, posting blogs, reposting stories, alerting the masses, registering people to vote. But that was still just the tip of the iceberg. One day I was researching one thing, and it led me into researching and discovering the truth of Abrahamic religion. Now, I've said before and I'll say it again, I'm a preacher's daughter. I'm also the great-granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter of other pastors on the other side of my family. I have a very heavily religious family. I also have a spiritual family as well, but I come from a long line of ministers, bishops, pastors, and evangelists. That's why a lot of people, when they hear me talk, they have told me before that they thought I was maybe become in my time of my life, I would be a preacher of sorts. So, I guess I am a minister of spiritual information. Let's say that. So anyway, during my revolutionary researching, I began to discover some spiritual things. It led me to purchase the book Sacred Woman by Queen Afua, and that book opened the floodgates to much, much more. I'm a far cry from the woman that I was when I originally read that book. Thank goodness for Queen Afua, sending her much love. But it introduced me to altar work and different things. Reintroduced me to herbal medicine, which I've always been involved with. And then I began to connect with other people that were on a path that I didn't even realize was so parallel to my own until I look back now. These women are wise women, the wise women, and so am I. Now, you will come to a point where you're going to get tired of faking it. Some people commit suicide because they don't want the world to know who they truly are. But you've been uniquely created to fulfill a divine purpose. Some of us have had to face certain particular hardships in our life, but it was, I hate to say that it was for the greater good, but truthfully, it's my belief that our souls choose the lives that we will lead. We've come here to learn. So a lot of us learn through adversity. Some of us had karmic debt from past lives that we needed to make good. Others of us have come to experience some hardships and things, some adverse situations, and to see how we navigate. Can we make the best of it? A good practice to learn to accept yourself is, first of all, affirm that you love yourself. Really, and then question yourself as to why the things about yourself that you don't love, why don't you love them? Why don't you like them? I guarantee you, if you go back in the recesses of your mind and do a life review, you will discover that the things that you don't like about yourself is really things that other people highlighted as negative about yourself. It's not even your voice that is saying those things to you. The more that you affirm yourself, I love these arms. I love my skin tone. I love my eyes as big as they are. I love my full lips. I love my nappy hair. Begin to affirm yourself and do it on a consistent basis and love on yourself in whichever form that is. For me, a couple things that make me feel love is taking myself to lunch and eating food that I enjoy. Taking myself to a concert and watching artists that I really enjoy listening to. Reading a book that I love. Listening to music at home makes me feel love. Making a nice cup of chai tea late at night or ginger tea makes me feel loved. That's just a few examples of showing myself self-love. Now, what looks like self-love for you may be totally different, and that's fine. Because remember, we're all individuals. Even though we're interconnected, we're all individuals on our own individual journey. But if you begin to affirm yourself, you're going to start switching and erasing that tape that is playing all the negativity in your mind. That's one. Doing the life review. Really determining why you don't like what you like about yourself. What is it? Why don't you like your crooked smile? It's because of what you see on television, these picture perfect people, and that's what you think you're supposed to be like and look like? Who's telling you this? Where is that message coming from? That's two. And then, the self-love and self-care, you need to put it into daily practice. Even a small action of love or care towards yourself can totally flip the script. Be consistent in the pursuit of loving yourself. And then what you will notice over time is things will begin to shift. And one day you'll look back and you'll realize how far you've come along the journey. See, yes, we're spiritual beings, but we still reside in these physical bodies. And we're experiencing a human experience. We're having a human experience. But it can be so much sweeter. It can be so much sweeter if we learn to accept who we are in this particular lifetime. It's going to help you identify your gifts the more that you connect with yourself. Spend some time with yourself. Some people say, I just want somebody to love me. But do you love you? Do you even know what you love? I have women that come to me for readings. They say, I want to manifest a boo and I want him to do such, such, such. And then I'll say, well, are you doing that for yourself? I don't seek for any man to do anything for me that I ain't already doing myself. If I can, and then the catch is this. Can he outdo what I do for myself? I know what I love. And if I can, but it used to be a point I didn't know what my love language was. So how can I possibly want someone to show me that type of level of affection if I can't even fully express what it is that I need from this situation between myself and this individual? So I said all that to say this. Your spiritual journey also includes these types of issues and things. You're not going to be connected to spirit if you don't love what you see in the mirror. If you don't love the person that this spirit is resting in. You got to learn to love yourself from head to toe, in and out. And then that spirit that is residing, that pure, that divine spirit, will flourish from your vibrations being raised through the expression of self-love and self-care towards yourself and the acceptance of yourself in the totality of the light and the dark of yourself. You, the full you. So this has been Ashaki. I went longer than I wanted to, but I really felt the need to express the importance of loving yourself fully. I hope that my words have resonated with you. And from my divine soul to yours, until the next time, sending you all an abundance of peace, love, light, and always balance. Be sure, if you're not subscribed to the channel, that you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you will know when I upload. Again, I upload videos 1 day per week. So far, if you would like more content from me, let me know. Then maybe I'll do it if I get those numbers up a little bit. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. And for my subscribers, I love you all so much. You take care. I'll see you next week. Peace.